Those who are watching the recording can forward it for 2 minutes. Okay, I'm just sharing this to the groups and so greetings to all of you. Yes, it's done. Nice to see you all in live interaction for a long time. Greetings. Okay, so all the messages have gone. So nice to see you on this night. I deliberately keep it in this period at night because the Western people also, there are some from outside India, and it becomes comfortable for them. So I was a little busy in this last week, but not really busy, busy yet not busy. It was a fun time for me and fun time for all. We met in Mumbai. We had two different satsangs at two different places, Ghatkopar and Warden Road. People enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and it was a nice journey, revealing, and most of them were very new. They had somewhat idea, and some had watched Shifting into Awareness, and they came. I think only three or four of them were whom I knew personally uh, on the journey since the past few years. Rest all were like new, and it was a good communication. Most of them were Gujaratis, and all lovely people, beautiful people. So one day I was in Ghatkopar early because Rajesh Bhai and Kavita ji invited me to come one day early and stay with them. They wanted to have some satsang themselves, and that happened. And whole day in their house there were other families and people coming, and satsang was going on otherwise also unofficial satsangs. So we, and all that I talked in those 2 3 beautiful days in Mumbai was only and only about awareness, and I don't remember we talking anything else. And the people who had come there also were not distracted by anything much, and they were to the point, and they knew what they wanted, and they actually knew what they were expecting, and they got what they expected. So I loved this crowd because this is my kind of forte where I can sit comfortably and we can share the satsang. So it was very beneficial to them and to us also, to all of us. So Ghat Kapar was over, and then the next day, Miraji had already arranged in one of her friends' restaurant, and again in the prime location of Santa Cruz. And that was also a good time we had. Very beautiful time. I had not expected it to be so big because I was just thinking 5 10 people somewhere. There were more. And more than that, apart from that, also there were satsangs happening all the time. So in the second part where we had some good experiences. What I was told was um, what Miraji had arranged, and 3:30 we were supposed to begin that the satsang, and we had only 2.5 hours given by the restaurant because it's a peak business time. But somehow they had allowed us to have the satsang for just 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It went on for 3 hours. That's another thing. But one thing that Miraji was telling was that every satsang and all, we have people coming in, and then we got to settle them down, announce and things. And this satsang just went on. Everybody was just sinking into it, and no movement. Also, people were still, and no noise, no discussion, no distraction. They were just focused, and I had an amazing time because because of seeing everybody in that hall was so aligned when we were speaking, and I could see they were already in a state of certain awareness, which probably they didn't know, but I was knowing it. And one two healings took place there very spontaneously, but we didn't give much focus to that, because then the idea is not for healing. All these things are not for healing, but it was very very what do you call, important for them, because it was like a miracle that happened. And things, somebody who had skin problem for more than 5 years, treatment was being taken, and that day she did not take the tablet because she was coming for the satsang, and she said we'll take it later. But we didn't do any practice also. We were just sitting there, and we were just aligning with that divine presence, your own presence, and the presence, godly presence. And knowingly unknowingly we connect to that, and the alignment happened. And then suddenly she was amazed, and she came up and she wanted to just speak it out. She was very excited to say that the the irritation of that, the itching things had just stopped and completely gone. And more than that, she was surprised when she looked at it. There was no rashes, the patches, everything, and that thing had gone. The marks and all those things had just gone off. And she was very excited for that, because she was in distress for that for a long time. And when she was announcing that, yes, obviously we were not very surprised. I was not wanting to put too much light on it, so I said, okay, let's sit down and continue with it, because we don't want to get, because nobody had the intention of healing. Neither I had an intention of any kind of healing. But I am aware that these things happen side by side, because these are all side effects of when we align with the divine. And but I didn't want to give it much importance, so we just shut down the topic. Then somebody else also told, oh, my leg, it was aching like anything, and it just stopped aching. I can't sit for so long in one place, and here 3 hours I just sat, and that pain is gone. I don't see anything in my leg there. So we change the topic and we start moving, because then it will go in some other direction. The only idea was, I didn't want to make this any kind of any other focus. Like these sessions and all this are not focused on anything else. I was not focusing on any kind of health, any wealth, any abundance, prosperity, relationship, blah 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 blah, nothing. Because the subject here and focus is just aligning to the self, being one with oneself. And that is where the journey and the aim is. So I think the aim should be kept on that. Whatever else comes, fine. That's all considered as the byproducts of that. So what will happen otherwise is, the whole aim will change. Then people will want to do awareness for this purpose, that purpose, and the same old stuff will come in everywhere. Because everywhere that is happening, spirituality we forget. We come into, that's what I put that question today: why have you come into spirituality? And or how did you come into spirituality? What brought you into spirituality? There are so many reasons. It might be whatever, the reasons might be whatever, but I was not interested in listening to anybody's stories, actually, because there is no use listening to that. But I wanted that story to be a reminder to you when you put that thing, okay, so and so day this happened, and whatever happened, a suffering happened, a trauma happened, or some incident happened, or maybe nothing happened, and you just had a turnover, and something ignited from within, or you were seeking a deep meaning. Something happened, because there is a turning point in everybody's life. So I wanted to highlight that thing. That is why I asked the question, how have we come into spirituality? Okay, then we mentioned whatever, blah 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 blah. Many beautiful answers came in, that this is the thing. So we have an idea of why we came into spirituality. Now the next question I immediately posted after that was, after some time, was that, now whatever have you have answered, have you attained that? Have you realized that whatever you must have said, I came for this reason, I came for that reason, have you attained that? If you have attained that, well and good. If you have not yet attained that, then you are in line for the alignment that's happening. Or maybe you are missing out something. You got to now get focused to that, because that kick or that awakening that happened for the spirituality, which turned you spiritual, was for a reason. The reason is nothing but to bring you back to the source. That's when you get knocked. That's why everybody in this world will get knocked. They will be knocked all the time till they receive the final blow and they turn within. So this is going to happen to every single human being till they reach the point. So there will be reminders consistently, and there is nobody can escape this. You have to be, you have got to be in that. So there is no room for any escape there. So the reminder about that, okay, I began my journey with this. So my journey began, but many times the journey begins for a certain cause, and then we have enthusiasm, and then over a period of time we forget why we came into spirituality. Many times we can just forget why we are here on this path, because the glitter is so much you can get lost. You will always see that when you started the path, it was so much of enthusiasm, so much of vigor, so much of energy, whatever you call that, interest and all that, josh. But after some time you'll see that it's gone, and now we are struggling to get back into that. Many people tell that, "Oh, I had that before, now I don't have it." Now it is not about anything else, it is because of our lack of commitment on that, persistence on that. Because the gap might be just small one, it might be just we are going on this path and the gap might be little different. You might say it's okay, chota gap hai. But as you go on, the gap, actually this angle keeps widening, and after reaching a certain point you will see you must have gone this way or even this way. Then you say, what did I begin with? Most of the time we don't even say that. So when that seeking is there inside and people start missing and the craving, and they don't understand, they will see that they are misaligned with that what they began with. So that post was all to just give us a reminder, am I on track or not? Also it was a reminder. When I say why did I come into spirituality, some said prosperity, some said I had financial problem, some said I had health problems, whatever all those problems. But spirituality is not for that. Spirituality gives a knock through various doors. That those doors can be crisis, tragedy, accident, incident, death, ill health. All these kind of crunches come there to give you a kickstart and bring you into awareness of, no, this is not where you are supposed to go. There's something lacking, and then suddenly you turn inwards. So when you turn inwards, the journey begins inward. But if somebody said, there are many answers that came, I came in for prosperity, I came in for this problem, I came for worldly desires, I came in to find out more, I was interested, all that is not yet the final purpose. So we are like, the purpose is there in the moon. So health problem, this is health problem, this is wealth problem, this is crisis, this is death, this is tragedy. We are, all this is happening, why? It is pointing to the moon. It says go to the moon. So that means to the source, to where you came from. So this incident is just a medium. But if you catch this incident as your goal, like if you catch, I came for prosperity, I had money issues, so I came into spirituality for a deeper meaning, and you caught this. But that money problem was pointing you towards that. So you didn't look there, going back to the source. You caught this. So that also gives us another highlight. Okay, I entered into spirituality for worldly gain. It doesn't make sense. How can it make sense? Because for worldly gains, you can enter into the worldly stuff. If you have a finance problem, you can go into and meet a financial coach. If you have a health problem, you can meet a doctor, a health coach. So many things are there. But why spiritually? Because somewhere there is a connection, there is a pull from within saying that I need to find a deeper meaning. The deeper meaning, this is giving a bahana, this is giving just a what you call a hint. But we caught that somewhere we were in the right direction, but we still did not go directly to it. We stopped at the gate, we didn't enter the gate, thinking that this is it. So the pursuit was just behind that. That is where I love bridging that gap. My main work in this lifetime is to bridge that gap, because I've seen me myself find I've found myself bridging that gap even without my awareness. It was automatically happening for many years, for whoever, my friends or people or whatever. I could see that when they were finding that deep resentment or that deep sadness, grief, and then they came and said, "We are doing this, but we are not understanding what's going on." I could see what's the difference. So I could point out that for good reasons or whatever, telling that this is happening for this, and then they were able to not catch this, leave this, and look there. So when they started moving there, these things started solving out, because these were just uh, clouds. They just appeared and it was not real. Clouds are not real. If you go into the clouds, it's not there. But from here, if you look, there are clouds. So these are the incidents that actually cloud us. In fact, here also, when I was meeting a lot of people and all that, I could see the same thing. So somebody wanted, because I had gone to Ganesh Puri, and when I was in Ganesh Puri, I wanted to return back, and there were people again wanting to meet. So I came back again to Mumbai after Ganesh Puri. I was in Santa Cruz yesterday in one of the person's house. We were meeting people there. There also I met a couple of people, and also in the other 2 days also I was meeting a lot of people where they suddenly saw there this can be a solution. This is a possibility, because this is deepening experience. The experience is deepening, and somewhere they find, oh, it can be meaningful. But still the catch is here. So when they speak, they're still not speaking on the source. They're still talking about their problem. Oh, I have, I'm stuck in this area, I'm stuck in that area. I just need to push forth from that, so that I understand and I go and achieve my goal. So the whole idea of spirituality is not that. That is why I have been very much strongly condemning this glamour spirituality. The glamour takes you nowhere, because glamour spirituality is just another maya within the maya. It's entering even the adhyatma. It's entered into the spiritual zone, and the glitter is so much that you get lost. I often say that, when we have satsangs, when we have meetings, most of the time when we have meetings, they are like gatherings. We gather together, community gathers together, and then we have fun. So most of the time, I've seen when satsang is kept, we keep things like something, some entertainment, maybe a dish, a snack, a party that's a kitty party, like, or some programs or some bhajans or something like that. We have all these things. Now, if you look carefully, why are these kept? Because when I was in Delhi, I was asking some of my friends who were inviting me to their house, and when I entered, I couldn't see spirituality there. I'm sorry, really, I couldn't see spirituality, because I had gone with a spiritual frame of mind. And when I enter, the moment I enter, there is a juice given to me, and I'm relishing the juice. Everybody is relishing the juice, and as soon as the juice is being sipped, everybody is talking about, oh, where were you, how are you, and where were you, what happened to you, what happened to that one, where is this one, and charcha shuru ho gayi. And by the time is to settle down. Now when they're settling down, they're already in the gibberish mode, and some people have not yet completed their talks, and suddenly there is an announcement, okay, sit down, a program, we are beginning. And that adhura reh gaya, so they will talk in little this and wait, okay, baad mein baat karte hain, and baad mein baat matlab ye satsang ke beech mein all that thing is going on. This happened in Delhi. Well, I saw in one of the, it was kind of a katha that was kept. Some katha was going on, so I was invited and I went to somebody's house, and I saw all this thing, and I'm waiting. Okay, now what? Now what? I'm looking around. Then everybody settled down. Then there is somebody who's talking something. And when somebody's talking something, there is somebody scratching here, somebody's talking here, somebody looking at the mobile. All those things are there. Just, and then they probably they sense, okay, public is getting bored. Chalo ek bhajan dal do beech mein. Then somebody starts singing. Oh, when they're singing, oh, everybody is looking there, and then they're singing that tali wali bajao and all that stuff. And when the bhajan is over, again some pravachan begins, and again some are scratching and some are this. It's, I mean, it's, and then sometimes gifts are given, tokens are given to people. Okay, you have come, thank you for this and all that. And as soon as whatever that program is over, Immediately there is a rush for food. They just dash in there. Either food is served or they rush into that, and then the discussion is, ये क्या व्यंजन बना, वो क्या व्यंजन बना, इसको चख के देखो, उसको चख के देखो. So this all happened in Delhi, and I'm sitting there watching, and I wondered, where is spirituality in this? What did I come for? I was told there is some katha. तो द कथावाचक तो कथा बोल दिए, सुनने वाले क्या सुने क्या जाने. What is the purpose? Now everybody is coming in glitter. Everybody is अच्छे सज धज के हैं. All those things are there, and then their attraction is into that. This is nothing different than the church culture that I had long time back. My father used to never come to church. We used to go alone. I mean, our family used to go, but father never came to church, and we were very upset with him. You're not coming to church. The mass is going on, Sunday mass, and everybody is there. We feel so bad you're not there. And he used to just laugh and say, "Your Christ is in the church. My Christ is in my heart." And he used to pray. I used to never understand that. Today it makes so much of sense. Those days I never understand. And he never entered the church, whatever function. And then he was a very simple man, शर्ट पैंट डाल के, आउट शर्ट, और उनके पास साइकिल होता था. तो वन डे ही केम फॉर अ प्रोग्राम, वी कॉल्ड हिम, प्रोग्राम है, आप आ जाओ डैड, यू हैव टू कम, इट्स अ क्रिसमस टाइम प्रोग्राम एंड इट विल गेट लेट. तो उस दिन मजबूरी था, प्रोग्राम वाज गेटिंग ओवर एट नाइट 10 or 11 o'clock, so he had to come, and he told I'll be there. But I was looking, when we were on the stage also, I was looking for him everywhere. He was not in the crowd. So I came to know he's not there, but I was scared now how to go home if he's not there. But then when everything was over and the whole crowd was coming, I saw him from the balcony. I saw him. He was standing very far. यहाँ पे गाड़ियाँ, साइकिल वाइकल सब पार्क हुई थी, but he was not here. He was standing near one tree where there was darkness. I couldn't understand. I was happy to see him, but I couldn't understand. Then when everybody dispersed, and I walked to him, where nobody, I and my sisters were there. We walked to him and we started moving from there. So when we were moving from there, I asked him, what happened? Why are you standing here? He said, आप लोग सब बड़े सज धज के, परफ्यूम वर्फ्यूम मार के, और देखो सब टिप टॉप ग्लिटर ग्लैमर, और मैं अगर आ गया तुम्हारे बीच, यू विल फील इंसल्टेड. तो he said, मुझे मेरा यही ठीक है, और मुझे वैसे भी कुछ लेना देना नहीं. आई हैड कम टू पिक यू अप. So those things haunted me later in my life. It's exactly this subject what I'm talking. That spirituality or religion is something else. My dad was trying to teach me since those days. It's not in your perfume, it's not in your dress, it's not in your new shoes. Jesus is not going to be impressed by all these things. But the followers of Jesus may be impressed, and you are not going there now to impress Jesus, but you are going to impress the followers there. So your whole attention and focus is on the followers, mean the people. It's not on God. So I used to learn these things. So these things do play a very, very important role. And I have seen enough of this right from my childhood and all throughout all these years also, which I was in spirituality. I saw this is everywhere. And I found it utter nonsense, because this is not the purpose of what we are here for. So the purpose can be very deluding. You might feel that it's a beautiful purpose that you have got, and spirituality is to just elate yourself and feel good. Most of the time the aim is to feel good, the well-being, being jolly. That's it. Mauj karo. One Himalayan yogi told me the difference between mauj karo and mauj mein raho. He told me मौज में रहना, मौज नहीं करना, बहुत बहुत अंतर है. One is freaking out, and one is being in that blissfulness. Being in that cheerfulness is another thing, and one is going and striving out and trying to become happy or trying to achieve it outside. That's a big catch. So in all this is where the only, I believe very strongly that if you just keep your attention and awareness on this, the awareness that what is the real purpose in all this, what is the real thing hidden behind whatever you're doing, pause for a moment and just look at it, stare at it and see, Is this what spirituality is trying to deliver me to? You'll see, no, it's not, because there is no end to it. The answer will always be lacking there. You can immediately catch hold of the path, the right path, and immediately move attention. It doesn't matter what the world is doing. पूरा दुनिया दीवानी है. Because that is what the Himalayan yogi told me. सब मुर्दे हैं. आपके अध्यात्म, he said, आपके अध्यात्म में सब मुर्दे हैं. सभी धर्मों में देखो, अध्यात्म में देखो, सब मुर्दे हैं. मुर्दे इन द सेंस अनकॉन्शियस लिविंग. नोबडी इज कॉन्शियसली लुकिंग एट व्हाट दे आर डूइंग. सब एक कस्टम, एक ट्रेडिशन, एक रीति रिवाज, एक मान्यता को फॉलो करते आ रहे हैं. कोई किसी को बोध नहीं है उस चीज, एंड नोबडी इज बॉदर्ड टू लुक इनटू दैट. दैट इज व्हाई मिस्टिक्स लाइक ओशो एंड ऑल blew all these things, and that is why he was hated. He was hated by everybody. He was hated by the communities. He was hated by governments. He was hated by mullahs. He was hated by the priests and popes. He was hated by the pandits and, dharam gurus. So many people. Because he literally, and wherever he focused, he used to break that. He used to challenge that system. And what is it? He used to break that literally, because he used to tell, you are not going to liberate with all this. You are going to get stuck up in all this. And before him, earlier times like Kabir, Bulle Shah, and all that, what beauty they exposed us. So we can see this, because since Kabir's time also this exposing has been going on, but still that ignorance is still there. Even in this times, modern times, it is there. And in fact, it is more than Kabir's times. So you can see how difficult and challenging it can be if you are not aware. That is one prime thing I took up this subject of awareness in everything, every aspect of life. You have to be very conscious, even where it looks very promising, even in all the paths, in all the religions. I will never accept any path or any religion just blindfolded because somebody is believing in it, or because I have to believe in it. I have always questioned, and I will always question it. And there is a right for me to question, because it's the journey. And if something is not clear, I have the authenticity, I have the courage to ask why. If you don't have the courage to ask why, you are going to be another Lallu Panju. You are just going to be another blind follower of a religion, of a cult, of a community. There's no questions asked. Nobody used to ask questions. Just follow, blindly follow. But then blind following, you can see this. How do we know whether what I'm telling is right? You look around and see how many people have been liberated all these decades. That is the mark. This is all supposed to liberate us, right? Okay, then show me. So many hundreds of paths are there, hundreds of religions are there. Show me how many people can you show? You'll scratch your head even trying to find one liberated person out. This is the reason. So it's going on and on and on. And okay, those who want to go on and on, it's fine. But there are sincere seekers, I know. There are seekers who want nothing but the truth. Nothing but the truth. So I'm talking to them because I am also seeking nothing but the truth. And I'm not interested in I cannot settle in anything else. 24/7, this is on my mind. So I love 24/7 preaching this, teaching this, sharing this, talking about it, thinking about it, dancing with it, singing with it, whatever it is. And you can see those activities that's happening in and around me. Why is that coming from? It's coming from here only. One moment. I was listening to a very nice Sufi song. Wow, it was so good. Thanks to Vishal, because Vishal of Pune, he sent me that and he said, "भाई ये आप सुन लो, ये आपको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा." I don't know where's the chat box gone here. If anybody chats here, I can't see anything. Okay, YouTube, on YouTube. कहीं तो गया वो. So the only awareness that you need to keep on the path is this. Rest doesn't matter. I'm telling where it is not. We leave everything and then we keep measuring. Oh, where have I reached? How far have I come? What is my progress? What is my evolution? How far more? People ask me how much time, if I practice this awareness, it's going to come. Those calculations are never going to help. That's why I wrote today's title itself. Where have I reached? Who cares? Who damn cares? I have never cared about where I've reached in life, in on the path. First of all, because there is no measurement on the path. It is such an infinite journey. There is no measurement. There is no, you आप नाप तोल कर ही नहीं सकते. If there are 1,000 people in front of you, 1,000 people have 1,000 different factors. 1,000 लोगों का 1,000 different karmas, 1,000 different ways their life is constructed. One application cannot redeem everybody. It's crystal clear. It's my experiment. I've seen it. You give one practice to somebody and tell them, ये आपको 5 साल, in 5 years you're going to attain this, maybe for that person, but the other 99 cannot achieve it in 5 years, because there are so many factors depending on that. I can notice that when I'm talking to a group and I'm doing personal consultations, because everybody is so different. Same questions, same inquiries, same kind of problems, same kind of being stuck, almost everybody. But when I interact with them personal, one to one, the solutions are different, because the whole thing is so different. And I wonder, how can one thing work for everybody? I mean, with a target. इतना time है. So nobody can put a target. No, it is impossible. And if somebody tells, if you do this in such time, you are going to get enlightened or you are going to free, that's all nonsense. It doesn't work that way. So when somebody approaches me and says that, we have a problem and we want to look into this, how can we look into this? I don't entertain those questions anywhere, because I know those problems are coming because you are not on the track. So if you run behind the problems and solving a problem, here a problem, it gets solved. But if you have not got connected to your source, another problem will appear here. I'll assure you that. You might think this problem is solved. Oh, now I can relax and now I can freak out. No, once you have been activated, it will not leave you. Once you have had an awakening, you cannot sit quiet. You have to go up. If you go down, that's your choice, but life will make you come up in some or the other way. It will force you to come out of it. So it is better to become very aware. Once you're on the journey, don't lose the goal. Do everything, that's all fine. But how to keep balance, that's awareness. Whatever you do, the worldly stuff, whatever you get engaged in, all fine. But keep the awareness up, because so that you don't get lost in that, you don't get carried away, you remain balanced. So all these things, I talk about living in your presence. Live in your presence. So that's what I'm trying to inculcate, because I have found it very beneficial when I live in my presence. In all these past years, I have practiced it, and now it's naturally become a part of that. Awareness is all the time there. I don't find myself separate from awareness anytime. There is always a remembrance of that awareness. Many of us say that, oh, we do it when we are doing, and then we forget. Then after 2 hours or maybe after a day, then we remember, oh, I have to be aware. Yes, those are the starting stages. Even I've been through that. But when you keep on persisting on that, then this becomes a habit, and then it gets conditioned in you. That remembrance get conditioned in you, and that awareness is always active in everything that you do. Awareness, what I'm telling here, is the conscience, the remembrance of you not being what you think you are, that the false I. You will always have this kind of an understanding that this is not this personality. This world is not a permanent stuff. That will always be there in your back of your mind. Anything comes. You see a new relationship also, first thing the awareness will tell you, this is not permanent. Anything. You see a car and are lured by it, another thing that will come there is, this is not permanent. It's going to go. Anything. You want to get married, that thing will be there. This is not permanent. You are going to have a child, that thing will be there. This is not permanent. Now you might say, what is this? This is conscious living. This is you called, you have your prarabdha. Prarabdha is coming, but you are completely aware of it, aware of the reality of it. Because when you live in this kind of awareness, sahaj roop se vairagya starts happening. You don't have to force vairagya, dispassion, detachment. You don't have to force these things. It will come very naturally to you. Why? You are just living in awareness. What did I tell you? You're going to get married, you know it's not permanent. Not permanent in the sense, whatever. It's not going to give you forever happiness. A child, it's not going to give. A house, it's not going to be there permanently. And it's the truth. You also know it. It's the truth. It's not going to be there. But the only thing is that lust for that thing, that desire for that thing is so strong, even if your conscience tells you, you will push it and you will jump into this. Because this is so satisfying for the moment. That is what causes suffering. Sooner or later, it brings suffering. Because it's the pain and pleasure principle, duality. If you jump into pleasure, you are bound to be affected by pain. And if you jump into even pain, you are bound to get pleasure. It's not punishment. It keeps moving like a sine wave, up and down, up and down. What goes up cannot stay for long. Has to come down. What comes down cannot stay down forever. It has to go up. When it falls down, there is gravity and there is a force that comes down. When it comes down, this force only takes it up. When it reaches the peak, it can't stay there forever again. So this is the law of nature of duality. So anything is not permanent. You'll know that. This is the conscious living. Like for example, this is night right now. But you're not so bothered about night. Why? You have awareness that this night is not forever, only for a couple of hours. After that day is going to come. You know it now, conditioned. So nobody is scared of night. Same way day. Same way pain, pleasure. Every time when these things are happening, you are aware and it's not permanent. This too shall pass. I always tell this example. Somebody came running to the master and said, I am in this trouble, I am in this tragedy, this happened to me, that happened. I know it's a very low. And the master is just smiling and say, this too shall pass, don't worry. So he's happy. Oh, it will pass. Okay. He runs back and it really passed. Those bad times went. They were good times. He came back. Thank you, master. Good times have come. Master smiled and said, this too shall pass. He's like, and why this disciple is up and down? Excitement and depression. Why the master is neutral? Awareness. Master is neutral because he knows it is not permanent. Nothing is permanent. Not even your problem is permanent. Not even you are permanent. So when I take care of my body and I'm bodybuilding and going to the gym and maintaining, or I'm uh, alankar karke, ornamental, all those things I'm doing, again I know this is not permanent. It is going to go. There is awareness. If I'm not aware, then I'll unconsciously. I sang this last time. Mat kar kaya ka ahankar. मत कर काया को अहंकार, काया धूल हो जासी. Because kaya is body, so don't take pride in the body, because this is going to become dust one day. And whatever we take pride in, whatever we are attached to, imagine the more the strong the attachment, that much strong the pain is going to be. And like if you are having this lust for life and you are so attached with life and life, death is going to be a nightmare for you. But what is the truth? Death is truth. But again, death is also not permanent, like life is not permanent. You get born again, it goes on. Till when? Till you come into a neutral state, you're neither born nor die. Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivoham. That is what Nirvana Shatakam says. I'm not this, you are not the mind, you are not the ego, you are not the body, you are not blah 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 blah, nothing, nothing, nothing. You are Chidananda Rupam, Shivoham, Shivam. Realize that. The neutral one, the witnesser, and the blissful one, Chidananda Rupam, Shivom. Because that's a blissful state. That is why the master is laughing and saying, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. So the master also is not perturbed. So what are these? These are examples that tell us how to live life successfully. If you really, if you are serious about the path, then you will be damn serious about all these things. And that doesn't mean this is all very depressing to hear. No, you will see it is liberating to hear whatever you are hearing right now. Very, very liberating. Once again. Okay. It's very liberating because you don't know the kind of freedom that comes with it. There's a great freedom because you are not bound by anything. See, you are not bound by life. You're not attached to life. And you're not bound by death also, not attached to death. Nothing. You're not attached to the day, not to the night. You're not attached to the good times. You're not attached to the bad times because everything is passing. You are just moving. And when you're not attached, when you're liberated, what happens? You're free. You're mukt. So this state is much more blissfulness because in this present, I am completely using this present. Completely liberated. I can see so many people who are not in that state. They are what I call always the constipated look. Those who do too much of sadhana, too much of meditation, too much of practice, you can see that constipated look on their face all the time. As though something is struggling within and they can't get through that. There is no peace until you release it. And what is that releasing? In the constipation, you know what you release. But the soul, the koshas, all these subtle bodies are holding so much of constipated material, so much of heaviness that when it goes, you feel so relaxed. Today, I was talking on a personal consultation, and she wanted to just have a glimpse of what is this about? What is this about? How and she said, I just want to know what this looks like. And when she was sitting, it was like, I have body aches, I have this, that, I'm not feeling, I've not been feeling well for a couple of days, and I've not been in myself and all that. So I'm sorry, I look a little groggy, and things like that. I'm not looking very fresh. And I said, by the time we finish the session, you'll be lighter and nice. She didn't take me seriously, but that's what happens. And by the end of around, I think so, 2.5 hours, the final half an hour before she left, she was like, what's this? And I feel so light. I was not feeling my body all this while. Why do we feel our body? Because the whole weight is on this body, all this boja on our subtle bodies. All the time we are carrying all these worries and things of this cycle. Up also you are worried, you're happy in such a way that you accumulate, you celebrate, and you can't. So excited mind is you can't sleep. And then you go depressed. So depressed the mind is that you can't sleep. So either ways there is no sleep. So life is not restful, life is not cheerful. See, there is one way where you say you dance. There are two ways people dance. One is you put on the music and you have a kitty party or you have a celebration and everybody is put on the music and everybody is dancing. And everybody is having fun. You look at their faces like when there are celebrations and all that. They're having fun, they're laughing, they're dancing, they're boozing and all that. Full of fun. But you'll see that fun, if you observe very carefully, if you're a person of awareness, you'll look, penetrate, and you'll see that fun is to forget their pain. Somewhere there is some pain. Somewhere there is some boja, some heaviness. Now to release that, they will go and dance. They will go and sing. They will do everything to keep them distracted. They want to drown in something artificial for some time at least. Like somebody is feeling too heavy and they go and have a peg of whiskey or rum or brandy or whatever. Why? Because they drown into that intoxication because they're lost there. Now they're unconscious and now they are not disturbed there. It is an escapism into alcoholism. All the habits are just that. So these are something like good habits, but they are still habits conditioned. So we have good habits like put on the television, listen to it, or eat food, or go and party and all those things, go and dance and all that. These are habits, but they're habits. They are again addiction. They are again running away. Party addicts, why do they get addicted? Same, alcohol का ही फंडा उधर भी है. You want the more problems you have, the more you want to run and drown into it. So every time you have a problem, you seek something. And this kind of an addiction, I have seen it in spirituality also. Now what? To have an escapism from their sorrows, they go and do satsangs. They do bhajan. They will sing a bhajan. और भजन में भी जब गा रहे हैं, झूमता हुआ नहीं दिखेंगे आपको, खिल के नहीं दिखेंगे आपको, सब कॉन्स्टिपेटेड लोग वहां पे, बिकॉज दे आर सफरिंग इनसाइड. दे आर लुकिंग फॉर सम आउटलाइट दैट दे कैन एंटरटेन देमसेल्फ विद समथिंग. So they will entertain with something, and when that entertainment is over, they can't go back. मन नहीं कर रहा, वापस घर जाने का मन नहीं कर रहा. I used to see events, spiritual events happening, and people gathering in the events, and they are all having fun and dance and so-called fun, so-called dance. But that time even I used to have that so-called fun. But today I can see it clearly. It's all crap, hypocrisy, escapism, worldly problems so much that I want to drown myself into spirituality, get intoxicated. एक नशा, spiritual नशा, ऐसे चढ़े कि ये उतरे ना, and nobody wants to go back. They want to be in the event only. 5 days event, 10 days event, 15 days event, 1 month event, then they would want to go back only. I want to be here only. That shows the inadequacy. It's just like a party. You don't want to go back home after the party. You want to be in the party. You want to party all night and probably all life also. The approach, I have always told this kind of approach is always there. The vasanas are the same. If I'm a party goer, I'll go and enjoy. I'll intoxicate myself with all the dance and fun and thrill and booze and all that. But when I become spiritual, now I have to leave all these things. Now I don't touch all these things. I've become holy and spiritual, holier than thou. So then I go to spiritual satsangs and do the same things. And them keep scratching my head. What's the difference? Even people looking at you will say, what's the difference? It's all the same. Maybe you're looking a little more decent. Maybe you're not using vulgar words like before. But you're using nicer words. And when that nicer word is not coming from your soul, it is as good as vulgar words. अब आप किसी को देख रहे हो और अंदर से देखते ही खुन्नस आ रहा है उसको. You say that what this idiot, stupid guy, and all that criticism is coming. But now I'm spiritual. I cannot do that. So I will say Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna. But अंदर गाली चल रही है. So even this good words that you're using is as good as foul words. That is the camouflage. If you are not aware of all this will continue forever. And if you get a group of people, bunch of people who think alike, then भूल ही जाओ निकलना. इतना बड़ा गठबंधन है. It's such a difficult thing because everybody is मुर्दे in that. Or the Himalayan Yogi. सारे मुर्दे तो जिंदा कौन रहेगा? All are stuck in that. There's nobody to even tell भाई आप क्या कर रहे हो. एंड व्हेन द ग्रुप बिकम्स बिगर एंड बिगर एंड बिगर, अगर एक ने भी आवाज उठाई उसमें, भाई ये क्या कर रहे हो, ही विल बी किक्ड आउट. आउट यू गो. यू नो मोर आर लाइक अस. यू डोंट बिलोंग हियर. आवर्स इज दिस. हम यहाँ ऐसे, एंड दे विल यूज वर्ड्स लाइक हम यहाँ पे ऐसा होता है, हम ऐसे करते हैं. दे हैव बिल्ड अ डिफरेंट कल्ट, अ कैटेगरी, एंड दे कीप डूइंग दैट. So no questions asked. We are going to do this. This is how the catch of spirituality is very dangerous. Dangerous for whom? Who are seriously wanting to liberate. Not dangerous for anyone. Those who are lost in it, कैसे पता चले? See, there was once a man who lived with his children, and very rich man, very wealthy house. सब कुछ है घर में, आलिशान, और business, सब बच्चे बच्चे सब है. And while this man is dying, he is not worked on his spiritual aspect, though he's taken diksha from his guru, all that thing has happened, but he has not been conscious, he has not been aware being. So he did all the kind of nonsense again and again, and कोई ज्यादा फायदा नहीं हुआ. While dying, वो कुछ भी नहीं गया. His attachment didn't go. He was obsessed with his family, obsessed with his belongings, with his house, with his business, and all those things. And so much of vasana was there. All those vasanas are there, and he didn't work on it. He did not have any conscious awareness of it. And when he left his body thinking he is spiritual, he thought he will do Ram Nam Japa, because that was the Ram Nam was given to him. So he said, okay, and then my death time I can do that. But unfortunately, it does not happen that way. During your death time, how you have lived your life, how you are conditioned, that all will rush forth. So whatever you have been is has been in your mind all day long and all years long, all your life long, that will come and project and stand in front of you. Even if you want to take the name of Ram or any Lord, you will not even remember it at that time. The vasanas will just come forth. You just have a 20-second window. In 20 seconds, everything flashes in front of you. All that you did in the day, in the life. So all jo bhi prabal hai, all those things will just start appearing in front of you. And that time the soul is astonished with all this. ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया, oh this is pending, that is pending. And the vasanas and all those things. अरे मुझे ये खाना है, मुझे लड्डू ले आओ, मुझे वो ले आओ, मुझे ये खाना लेके आओ. That, at deathbed also people shout this. मुझे ये खाने की जल्दी लेके आओ. Why? Because the vasanas just rush in at that time. राम जप कहाँ गया? क्योंकि जिंदगी भर राम जप नहीं किया, जिंदगी भर अवेयर नहीं रहे, वो प्रैक्टिस नहीं किया, तो where it is going to come at your deathbed? It's not going to happen. It's not practical. So this man was there at his deathbed, and then he got all those things and learned, and all that he could see was he was worried about his children, his property, and he was thinking, I built this, I built this. Oh, I got to leave this, I got to leave my children, I got to leave that, this. And then he left his body. He left his body, but he was there, loitering around. Because that Vasana will not allow the soul to liberate. And the soul doesn't know it has left the body. It wants to be there all the time. So all that it knows is ye mera, ye mera, ye mera, ye mera. It will not leave. First the body, ye mera body. And then they see people are crying there, and the soul is telling, why are you crying? I'm here. It is not even aware it's dead. And they're crying and crying and crying. All those things are, people are coming, going, and nobody is listening to it. Imagine the drama. And then finally, when the body is taken to the crematorium, he's crying there, weeping. My body, they are burning. Lack of awareness. If one lives in lack of awareness, you die in lack of awareness. If somebody is full of awareness all the time, knowing that I am not this body, I am the presence, which is what I'm teaching. And on Sunday, this March 12th, that is what I'm exactly teaching us, how to live in your presence and not in the false I. So there is this practice that keeps you always in the move and knowing that you are not this body. Slowly you'll have a split kind of a feeling that, I'm different and this body is different. So who's I in this? That I, you always live in awareness. With that, what happens? Automatically the detachment, automatically the things disconnection, it happens. You don't have to keep chopping each and everything. Because from within that disconnection starts happening when you live more in this awareness. So all I'm trying to teach is live a life of awareness. I'm not even teaching mukti or self-realization and all that. I'm never talking about it also. Because I know if you do this properly, it will lead to that. You don't have to think about it. That's why I said today's thing. Who's bothered? Where are you? On the path of self-realization. Where have you reached? Who cares where I've reached? My care is only how am I living today? Am I liberated today? Or am I living in bondage and fear and all that stuff? That is my mark. So if I am living cheerful, if I am living free, I am that finished. My success is that. My achievement is that. I'm not bothered anything more than this. because I know if I continue living in this consistently, I will reach to that state of permanent freedom. I don't have to sit worrying about self realization and liberation. Now is that realization. What use it is if I don't realize now that I am not this. If I start believing all the time, I'm this body, these thing is real, that thing is real, I will get happiness only through the relation, only through the wealth I'm good, only through my investment, only through this property I'm going to get. If you live in that, that's ignorance. There is no real realizing. But if you start realizing and say that I am living in all this, but this is not permanent, this is going to go one day. When you are consciously knowing that it is going to go one day, the the terror and the shock that you get, that an ignorant person gets when something is snatched, you are far far better from that, because that person will just, it will be a rude shock whenever the time comes. But a person who's in awareness, maybe it will jitter a little. As an you are a stone or something, you are a human being, you will have emotions, you might want to cry, you might want, but it will not be sustaining for that long. You will have that jolt, okay, and you will feel, you will express whatever the little thing, but it will not be the same compared to an ignorant man. A ignorant man can live in that worry of separation or losing something for even a full janma. Why one janma? He can carry the same impressions in multiple janmas and live in that broodness. That causes karma, because you got something you lost, and that loss is so much that you will create all kind of emotions towards it, attachment, and that greed, and that fear, and that what do you call, the revenge, because I lost it, I'm angry, the anger. Now imagine what karmas you're going to create with that. So next life, all, be prepared to take all this behind, because you're releasing that. Your anger is going to cause. And what the other situation, if you see, then you already know, okay, it's not permanent, it's going to go, and you live in that awareness, and if it goes, you will get a little jolt, and then you carry on. That's how the freedom is. The freedom is going to happen from there. So this kind of a living is what is more important. What matters is right now what state I am in. Am I liberated now? If you keep awareness on that, if you feel liberated in the moment, then you're very close to that. Then you need not worry about anything else. So the progress that we monitor is, can be seen in the present tense. How free am I from all the conditioning of the mind? So many conditions. The more free you become from the mind is more freedom you're getting, and that is mukti. You're moving towards mukti. But we unconsciously we keep all these conditions, and then we fight for mukti. We do all kind of I don't know, so many techniques and all those things. It's ultimate stupidity. I feel it's a stupidity. This is my personal opinion, because I can't find any link when you are just practicing self realization and you're not working on any other aspects of your life, because there is no awareness. So you have all the wrong ideas of these things, including the concept of self realization. Only is a wrong concept. You have a wrong idea about it, probably because it was not even explained properly, or it was assumed that everybody knows about it. Everybody knows about it, but many have wrong ideas about it. Like, okay, I'll do something, I'm going. So when I ask people, what are you looking forward to in life? Or sometimes I ask, why are we sitting here in this kind of a satsang? They say God realization, or they say self realization, without having a proper idea of what is self realization. It's the same people, if I ask what is self realization, they won't be able to answer. They will say mukti. What is mukti? All that they will say is, no, I have no further janma. Oh, so you're going to have mukti? Yeah, I don't want to come back. Why? I'm fed up. Just because of your thinking I'm fed up, I don't want to come, it's not going to happen. It's not that simple. that I make a wish that I don't want to come back. I'm fed up with this life. One day I was sitting with a lady, my friend's mother. She was here only at home. So she was telling me, Jacob, this is happening in my life. I told Auntie, I told you, why are you getting into that? I told you certain things. Yeah, what you said is fine, but and these things and all, I'm so fed up. I'll tell you, I don't know. I'm sure don't want to come the next life. I said, Auntie, with all this muck you think you're not going to come in the next life. The way it is bothering you, it shows that you're going to come for multiple lives. And you're telling not even next life. It doesn't go by that. So there is no clarity even about that what is that self-realization, what is mukti, moksha. Somewhere we just have an ideology because even whoever speaks about it is half ignorant again. There is no clarity in that themselves. So the liberation comes from having a proper understanding. The light of awareness will always keep you lit and will keep you practical, will keep you grounded, will keep you realistic on this path also without getting carried away with all this taboos, with all the do's and don'ts, with all the stylish stuff. Style is not going to help here. Never, never. It's my, if you ask me what is the most sincere advice you can ever give, I don't give, but I'm telling you, if you ask, because this is one way I can express, I will tell never catch glamour in spirituality. Glamour is anything. It might be even my own style, my personalized style. It might be anything. Even putting a tika is glamour. Don't glamorize anything. Don't decorate spirituality in any way. Take it very raw. Because spirituality is very simple. You will complicate it with more of fundamentals, more of concepts, and more of theories. And then you can't go. You can't go beyond a certain level of understanding. You get stuck in it. That is why we are singing all this kind of, see this song which was there. I'll tell you, the Sufism is so beautifully explaining these things because they're also they're talking so much about the conditions of the mind and how in blind faith we live. I have, I think, a satsang with Rishi Gurukulam people in April. I think they've given me a date. I think April. They asked me for a date in April. I don't know when. So there, I want to sing these Sufi song, which is so liberating. And they asked me the title for it. Julie J asked. I said, "Music for Liberation." It will actually liberate. You know. From that only, I had put this post today. I don't know if you saw it. अब लफ्ज बयां सब खत्म हुए, अब लफ्ज बयां का काम नहीं, अब लफ्ज बयां सब खत्म हुए, अब लफ्ज बयां का काम नहीं, अब इश्क है पैगाम मेरा, अब इश्क है पैगाम अपना, और इश्क का कुछ पैगाम नहीं. So beautiful, and this has been written by Hazrat Zahin Shah Taj. He was also a great Sufi poet. All these great masters used to sing this, and it goes towards this being, what I'm trying to explain now in the being. So I think the main topic what I wanted to explain of today, I've done that, and that is to live in this practicality of awareness and not to measure the journey by any milestones and comparison with others, or that one is going ahead, this one is back, I am back, then there's no back forward, and there is no need to stress of over your journey, and there is no need to take tensions or worry about your future in the journey. Where is it, how long is it, where am I going to end, how is it going to end? Not required. How far have I come? Not required. How far is someone else going? Not our business. Our only focus should be on right now, am I liberated? If not, shift into awareness. You will start feeling liberated. That moment when you don't feel liberated, shift into awareness, you will see liberation coming there. And we have demonstrated this enough times. When we get into awareness, what happens? It is very liberating. Suddenly everything goes up, and then during your moments of awareness, with your eyes open, you will see there is no attachment in that time. Okay, I was telling about that man. I forgot his example. That man left his body and he went out and he was hovering around and he was in pain. He's in attachment. मेरा घर, मेरे बच्चे, मेरी बीवी, मेरा धन, मेरा दौलत, मेरे खेती. And that soul could not leave that body above that house. Only that house, खेती badi and घरवाले. And then it wanted to be somewhere around. So the next yoni it could take was something that is very very quick, because that time there is no awareness. An aware soul will wait for the circumstances. We can create circumstances, but unaware, automatically it gets pulled here and there according to their vasanas and thrown into this body. That is why man can tumble down from human body to even pashu yoni, depending on vasanas. Unconscious, directly it will, without without your intervention it will happen. And this man happened that way because his vasanas was so strong. He went into a pig's yoni. There was a big pig there in the gutter. It was pregnant, and this soul rushed because it only wanted to be around that house. That was its sole agenda now, because it can see the house, it can see the children, it can see the property, and have that feeling of closeness. Because human body to gaya, bade bhag mani shatan bhava, that chance gone. So now it enters into the pig body, and the pig is growing up there as piglets. Chote chote piglet ban ke born hue, and all the piglets are in their life. This one is the father of that house, in front of the house. And now the pig is growing there, and every day the children are coming and they are saying, oh, what a cute little piggy, not knowing it's their own father. And the piggy, they are playing with the piggy and every day giving it food, and the piggy is also, and slowly, unknowingly, the same samskaras, the same len den attachment with the pig also, who's nothing but their father, and for the pig, nothing but my children. So they get all connected to each other. And when that happens, they grow with each other. They cannot. And one day a yogi comes to their house and says that this is your father, because he sees the on the photo and he says there is some pitru dosh happening, this dosh happening. Then the yogi says that is because your father has not got mukti. Oh, where is he? Can you trace? Oh, let me find out. And he, with his third eye, he sees, okay, he is right outside in this house. Where outside? He goes out and see that pig. That's your father. And they're shocked. And the yogi goes off. And they are now, oh my God, what is the remedy? So they get in touch with the yogi and they say, there are some processes which if you can do, the pig will get mukti. And some early death, because if the pig dies, the bhog yoni is over, and then bhog sharir is over. Now it will get mukt, and then we can decide what to do. So now the children are very happy, family is very happy. Oh, papa ko mukti mil jayegi.